I have a unique perspective with Professor Klein, where he was my professor for EGR 103, which is an introductory engineering course here at UK. And he's also my manager for the Innovation Center. So I've had experiences with him inside the classroom and out. And so I've had this well-rounded view of Doug. And everything about him is amazing.
I feel like the end goal that you want to achieve in teaching is that the students see value in what you're doing, and they capture that and they sort of like move forward. Like I tell my younger faculty, I'm like, you know, you teach 2 classes. Like the kids that elect to come into your second class, like that is the biggest compliment because they've interacted with you now and they're interacting with you again. And so that intentional action to sort of show, hey, I care about you is really cool. I'm pretty blessed on the motivation component. Like engineering students are coming in and they're already motivated. Right, like they're high-level students, they want to be successful. I think for me, I just sort of try to recognize that and then develop a classroom structure that lets them know that I take that seriously and I want them to be successful. They got it! I think the big thing for me is that, you know, I sort of come into that classroom knowing that every kid has made a wonderful decision. You know, like I get the best kids in the state and they all have sat there and said, hey, I am smart, I'm hardworking, I'm gonna be an engineer to prove that out, and that's gonna impact my life. And just being a good steward of that great decision of theirs, I think is very cool. I just think a lot of kids come to the university and maybe they were the smartest kid in their hometown. They might not fully have bought into that, right? And I love the fact that the first instructor they get to interact with is me, where I go, hey, you can be successful. You obviously have what you need between your ears, right? How do we make it to where, you know, you find the support resources and you're successful and you take this degree and you go and change the world? I can't make engineering easy for you, but I can definitely make it more approachable.
I think communication is a big deal. I think if you can get it to where you all can sort of talk effectively with each other, there's gonna be a lot more time as far as it goes that you can be successful.
In my class, a lot of it is, you know, how do you be a good teammate? Right? Like if we're sitting there and we have a hard task, you know, every one of my students are all gonna be like, yeah, I did this thing in high school and I had to do all the work because this person didn't do it. I'm like, yeah, you were the engineering student. You know, they knew you were gonna do it. But everyone at your table has had that experience. And so how do we effectively communicate with each other to where we know this is what they're going to do? And how do we define timelines for other people to make it to where they're successful and they know they're successful? Like, you know, if you are the engineer that can be dynamic and work well with people, man, you're a valuable person. Like, you are just extremely useful in this world. And so if you can build that up, like that is what you want to be able to do.
Her classroom was a place where I felt seen, valued, heard, and inspired to reach my full potential. She taught me to take risks, embrace challenges, and the power of yet to have a growth mindset. Your unwavering dedication to your students, the field of education, the UK community, and beyond. You are an amazing teacher, and I'm so grateful to have you a part of my educational journey.
We live in times where we have, I want to say, a national teacher shortage, but really it's a global teacher shortage. So a lot of the things I do is basically highlight the importance of teaching science and mathematics, especially in these times and age. Especially since I'm a science education person, it comes down to the understand, like what it means for students to understand scientific concepts. And not just that, to also understand what we call the nature of science, how science works in everyday life, how it's affected by politics, by social and cultural norms. I am inspired because they want to become science and mathematics teachers in this day and age. It's not an easy job, and they know that, but the fact that they choose to do it, wake up in the morning, every morning, and do all of that, like, if this is not inspiring, I don't know what is.
Research always shows that when students are met with something that they don't expect, they want to know the answer more.
Yeah, I always ask my students, like, I have this thing where what was your favorite subject in high school? And almost 90% of the time, the reason is, or the sentence starts with, I had this teacher in high school. So, and I always love that because that's a starting point for me, that these students are one day going to be these people who will inspire other students. I had this girl who told me, I graduated 3 years ago from high school and I still text that teacher. I'm like, yep, I still have that, where I taught 15 years ago and one day it's gonna be you. And that feeling for them is really meaningful.
So this is an excellent observation.
These are the most robust students I work with. They are always on time. They're communicative. Like, these represent our future teachers in Lexington and the area, I think. They're so eager to find ways, to find resources. And this is so rewarding on so many levels with the different courses I teach.
He, more than any teacher I've had in my life, made me feel likely to succeed and excited to go to class. He created a course and classroom that were accessible, fun, and exciting, while giving every student the opportunity to feel heard through completing welcoming, easy-to-learn, and relevant assignments. I believe that he gave every student incentive, support, and resources to be successful in his class and with their future careers.
You know, my focus ever since coming to the University of Kentucky is to think about how in my research and teaching mission I can put students first, provide them with meaningful experiences, really kind of enhance as much engagement as possible. And so I have a performing arts background. Each lecture that I provide is a sort of performance, but I also want to kind of engage my students as much as I can to make them really feel like, you know, it was worth coming to class, even though it's cold, it's in the morning, but, you know, they get a performance. One core thing that I try to convey in my developmental psychology class is no one has it figured out. And so, you know, one thing that I like to convey to students is, you know, give yourself grace as you learn and develop, because developmental psychology doesn't end when you're 18. There's always kind of new challenges, new opportunities.
Yeah, so see what we just did there? So if you're like worried about something, you can always go back to the raw data, 1 to 6, and it's still there. And then, you know, you have an aha moment. Yes, of course, you're looking at the mean variables.
I feel this as kind of a great motivator, a great challenge for me to keep doing, you know, what, you know, I am passionate about, which is kind of bringing my love for psychological science with students across the Commonwealth. Part of what excites me about teaching at this university or at a university in general is the ability to teach and inspire future leaders kind of over and over again. You're also forced to kind of stay on your toes because you also want to relate to students of many different backgrounds. I feel psychology is such an intrinsically interesting and motivating topic, and so students come, I think, primed with this curiosity about how the mind works and how we behave and how we develop. And so I kind of capitalize on that by kind of ensuring that students are active in their learning. They're not just sitting down taking notes. I want them to kind of be excited about the topic across the 75-minute lecture. And I feel like those moments of uncertainty, of kind of surprise can really help students appreciate just how complex the human mind is.
So I've had the privilege of having Dr. Escobar as a teacher, both as an undergraduate and now as a graduate student. And while the content itself was different, what really is in common is her outward support for the students. But what also makes a difference is just her genuine enthusiasm and the clear passion for teaching. And that's really the kind of teacher that motivates the students to succeed and even inspire the future teachers later on.
I love teaching. And I learned early on that the aha moment, sometimes you get just in that exact moment that they get it, that the aha comes in and you see the sparkle, and that is just amazing to me because it's absolutely fulfilling. They now understand, they are ready to challenge me, which please challenge me. During class, it's what it is for. I try to look at my classes as a family. So I look at the students and I try to see the individuals. They're not required to come to class, they're choosing to come to class. So I see it as it's my job to be there to give everything that I have.
That are highly cited, almost 74 of those since 2020. You can see bar chart for engineers, I love a good bar chart.
I am always even willing to talk about other classes, what they're learning in other ones that's connected to your other classes, because we are not a class is not an island. It's all part of your learning. So let's connect with your body of learning. How does this course connect to these two others over here and this one over there? How can we make it to where you can see the big picture and our purpose? And that excites me a lot. Your knowledge is not static. You know, we have the laws of science, the laws of thermodynamics. Yes, those are, but you have to learn to look at a problem in different ways. We're very problem-solving, number-oriented. How many different ways can we approach the same problem and obtain the same answer? We all think and we all learn in different ways. The more flexible we are in being able to answer questions and to look at things in a different way, the better we are at working with other people and teams. And I think that that's really part of my goal, and in my field as well, is that flexibility to work with people and to understand all that we do and to understand how to make your message clear.
So for me, Dr. Horn is a great teacher because she has an epitome of an outstanding educator. Personally, she has an unwavering commitment towards student success, and that is evident in her open door policy, personalized mentorship. Basically for me, she has recognized my passion towards my subject and guided me towards paving my path towards achieving my goals.
I think in classes, I bring high expectations and intentionality. I think I am continuously indicating to students who are being prepared to be special educators that there is a lot of power in one, that one individual can facilitate positive change. And so I try to do that with intentionally high expectations and an abundance of passion for the field that I've been serving. I believe in the power of a well-trained educator. I believe that impact, when we put out quality personnel, is life-changing for many of the individuals that they will encounter. Currently, within our society, teaching is not necessarily a valued profession, but yet we can all pull from our lived experiences the individual in the classroom who had a powerful impact on us. You know, it's an interesting dynamic because I think oftentimes individuals simply want to do the work and check it off their list. And I think really pushing individuals to go above and beyond often isn't initially perceived in a positive light. But retrospectively, it is one of the things that students will say is, thank you for holding me accountable. Thank you for setting the expectation.
If it is a scripted program, then is it an explicit instruction or is it not? It is explicit instruction, right? You are explicitly teaching the learners exactly what you want them to know.
They are complex individuals. And I think it's the thing that I enjoy the most is that no two individuals are the same. They enter into the classroom with their own lived experiences. They enter into the classroom with their own perspectives and their own hopes and dreams, with the commonality that they want to serve individuals with differences. And I think those perspectives make them an intriguing group of individuals to serve. We're fulfilling our mission, right? We should be giving back to the communities in which our students have come from. We have trained individuals here to be high quality special educators, but your impact is felt across the globe. And I think that's huge.
So when I think of what makes someone a truly great teacher, Dr. Chwatko immediately comes to mind. She's not only an amazing educator inside the classroom, but also a mentor who genuinely cares about any of her students that she meets. Whether it's helping to design experiment, analyzing data, or navigating important career decisions, no matter how busy she is, she will always make time for anyone who reaches out to her.
And as a grad student, one of the reasons why I nominated her was because she's always encouraging us to seek other avenues of learning, whether it be inside the lab or outside the lab, by going to conferences, helping to mentor and teach students, kind of step out of my comfort zone. And so regardless of what we decide to do, she's always been so supportive in our career goals.
It's a unique relationship you have with somebody that's still forming their career, right? They're forming their path. And so being a part of that and helping them figure out their place, their passions, and really fostering that, both inside a classroom and outside the classroom, is a really key part. It makes me feel connected to help them with parts of the journey that might have been difficult for me, or challenging, or even incredibly easy at times. And so it's really fun to connect with them and talk about flaws or mistakes in my past, or even ones that I make now, and make them aware that it's a comfortable spot, show them that it's okay to do that, and kind of watch them grow through that process. And it's really rewarding and incredibly just kind to be a part of it with them.
Who's voting for nonlinear? No one. Okay, cool. So yes, you're all correct. The first one is a linear equation, right?
One of my teaching philosophies is that really education is a place to practice. So what that means is I often try to diminish the weight of homework assignments, because at that time, students shouldn't be masters of the material, they should be working on it. I often have methods where the students will come in for an exam or a quiz, they'll take it like in any other classroom they might have seen before, but we usually go through a secondary step of them going through their work, grading themselves, and submitting corrections, which allows them to more deeply connect with the material, and then, again, practice with it more and more, and become an expert over time. They're always all passionate about what they're doing. They have a reason for being here. But their personalities are entirely variable, and that's what makes the job fun. Recognizing all students as individuals, right? They're more than just, a student in your class that is one out of X, right? Many. They all need something different from you, and they all offer something different to you. When it comes to problem solving, the fact that they have different personalities, different knowledge base, and come to your classroom or to your research space with a different background makes them so much more innovative. And so that's, again, where, having those conversations and figuring out what works for each of us as a team is really, really fun. And again, challenges me as a leader to, again, adapt my style. And so the job never gets boring.